questions you have in that Q&A box, and we'll get to as many of those as we can at the end of the session. But I'm just going to go ahead and hand it over to Vijay, so you can kick it off for us. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Kara. Hi, my name is Vijay Rajan. I'm the founder of Compeers AI. And today we have this opportunity to show our ideas in this Insights Tech showcase. So Compeers AI is an all-in-one interactive conversational insights exploration platform that works with any custom qualitative or quantitative project from end to end, meaning from setting the objectives all the way to the presentation, including data collection. And we do so by automating the foundational tasks, enabling generative AI use at every step with a turnkey solution, and freeing up your time for deeper, high-impact analysis. We have a number of different offerings, and today I'm going to show you our qualitative research compere, our quantitative research compere, and Savant, which is our AI data analyst. Besides that, as you can see, we have many other offerings, and we can discuss that if there's an interest after the presentation. First of all, I'm going to show our qualitative research compere. And there are many different, because it's a comprehensive workflow, we have end-to-end research. There are many different features. However, I'm going to point out and talk about certain features that, in my opinion, help you extend the ROI on your qualitative research projects. So I'm going to talk about the interactive notes grid, where we bring in all the information from the IDIs or focus group into one place. We do respondent deep dive, where we do qualitative segmentation of respondents. And this is to help you understand your audience better. Besides that, we have the storytelling ideas and Q&A, for which we may or may not have time today. And finally, I'm going to show you our baseline analysis done by the model, and one pager, which is basically the executive summary, and editable PowerPoint reports. So let me go to showing the actual product. So here is our qualitative research compere. As you can see, we have we divide an entire project into 4 different steps, nothing groundbreaking here: planning, fieldwork, analysis, and reporting. Under each of these steps, we have multiple different sub-steps. And the purpose, you can think of each of these sub-steps as a purpose-built AI agent that is designed to do that specific task. The basic premise behind Compeers is that, and I'll show that to you in a step. The basic premise behind Compeers is that Compeers will interact with you and ask you to provide certain input at each step. Based on the input you provided, so here, this is the define objectives step, and the Compeer says, let's begin by setting the objectives of your project. You can either enter the objectives yourself, or I can help by pulling them from a project proposal or another reference document. So here you can say, I will define the objectives myself, or write the first draft for me. If you say write the first draft for me, you will upload a background document. Once you upload all the documents, Compeer will prepare the objectives of the project, and the user is able to edit it. And the purpose here is that user reviews the output provided by the model, generated by the model, and then refines it to finally take it to the next step, which in the ways it suits their needs. Or if the context changes, you can rerun the entire thing again. So for example, here, you will come in and let's say you didn't want this entire paragraph, you will simply remove that. And once you have saved your changes, it'll automatically go to the next step. So I want to show you all the different things that we do. So here you can see we define the objectives, we do desk research, we prepare discussion guides. You can edit the discussion guide collaboratively, like you would in Google Docs or SharePoint, online Word. Uh, then we do the extraction planning, where we basically prepare a plan for extracting specific information from the audio or video files. You can also conduct your sessions. Here you upload the discussions, meaning you upload the files, or if you have conducted your sessions within Compeers, we will automatically fetch it from the platform back into Compeers. We do translation and transcription, and we have according to our customers, we have the best in class transcription and translation of the audio or video files. Then we do the extraction, respondent deep dive, Q&A, first draft report, storytelling ideas, and finally you can create a show reel. So like I said, I'll focus on specific steps which are helpful, and given the time constraints that we have. This is the extraction step, which means in the extraction step we prepare a notes grid. And for those who have been on the vendor side of or the agency side of the business, you will know this, because this is the basis of any qualitative research analysis. Here each row is a respondent, and each column is a specific topic that was discussed during the IDIs or focus groups. And this basically combines all the data in one place, useful information in one place. You can further go down into this by either simply reading this or clicking on this, and then it basically opens up another window that shows you the respondent's answer, the AI summary of the respondent's answer on that specific topic, the two supporting quotes which you can play, and the sentiment analysis has been done. By the way, we do sentiment analysis on 28 different dimensions instead of just positive, negative, neutral. Here is the column summary, meaning what everyone said about that specific topic. And then there's a little bit of disposition of the respondent based on their sentiment throughout the entire session of the IDI or focus group. So this is quite useful in diving deeper into your data and understanding your respondents better, understanding their responses to the questions better. And in my opinion, I think it's quite useful for the researcher. Then the next thing I'll show is the respondent deep dive. And by the way, this kind of keeps track. You can think of this as a project management tool, which is telling you where you are in the entire process. So the respondent deep dive is meant to help you understand or group your respondents in different, according to your needs. So for example, you conducted the research at some point a year ago, and you are conducting something similar. However, the things have changed, and you want to go back into the previous research and want to kind of look at it in a different way. So here you can do the deep dive, and you have the control on how the segmentation is done. And I can show that in a longer presentation at some point, but this is what it produces. This is the report it produces. So here we divided the respondents into 3 different groups. And we are basically defining the respondent, personifying the respondent, showing their behavioral characteristics, and all the sentiment analysis for that particular group. We also name the group, and all this kind of helps you tell the story better. We also make recommendations for each group, a different recommendation, because obviously these 3 groups of respondents behave differently. So this is our recommendation for how to interact with them, or how to communicate to them. And finally, we have Q&A and the executive summary, the first draft executive summary. like with everything in Compeers, it is editable and fully formatable. You can format it in any way you like. The same kind of things. You are able to do that in PowerPoint or Word. You can change any of these things. Anytime we make recommendations, we provide a rationale because we are built within a verifiable AI framework. So any recommendation or any number or any conclusions that you see in Compeers can be traced back to the original data in either qualitative or quantitative projects. Our data set, questionnaire, or the discussion guide and the audio or video files. This is our slides that we prepare. So the extraction grid that I showed you earlier, we take those extractions, all that information, and kind of do a thematic coding on that, and we derive anywhere from 8 to 12 different themes. And on any of these cards, you will see a tree map, which basically is an evolved version of word cloud, but with more information. And here it will also show you how many people mention these specific things. Below that, you will see the sentiment analysis of the entire theme, the summary of the sentiment, as well as 2 supporting quotes, which you can play, and you can also see the sentiment analysis for that particular theme. And these are, by the way, you can download these as either PDF or PowerPoint, and all of these these things that you see here will be editable in PowerPoint and not go in as an image. Going back to my presentation, so this was our qualitative research Compeer. And as you can see, we handle qualitative research all the way from planning, starting from the planning all the way to reporting of results. Going to our quantitative Compeer, and here the main things that I wanted to showcase is the automated survey programming. So instead of having, spending thousands of dollars and couple of days up to a week, depending on the complexity of the survey, we automate the survey programming along with all the skip logic and piping and anything that can be done in a standard survey platform. So we do automated survey programming. And besides that, I want to highlight our default advanced analytics module, which lets you build key driver analysis, clustering, grouping of the respondents, a simulator, and a trend analysis, all in the same workflow. And we have provided these kind of analysis because we believe that these things should be done as a routine, just to understand how you your respondents better, and the relationship between different variables in the data set or questions and answers. And these kind of analysis, key driver analysis, clustering simulator, these kind of things help you better understand your data set and the use case that you're working on. And then I'll also show you the baseline one pager and the slides report. We have kept the workflow consistent across qual and quant, just to reduce the learning curve for the users. So here, again, you can see we have planning, fieldwork, analysis, and reporting. And under each, we have objectives, background research, questionnaire setting, questionnaire editor, etc. So here, I'll click on the questionnaire editor. And as you can see, this is a standard questionnaire that you can edit here along with, and it's collaborative. So you can invite a couple of your team members as needed and edit the questionnaire right here. This is fully flexible. You can add things, remove things, add questions, remove questions, add blocks, remove blocks. You can format it in any way. You can see the skip logic for each of these. If you have to define your own skip logic, we have that here as well. And once this survey is finalized and you approve the survey by clicking on this approve button, it moves on to the next step. Here, we are programming the survey in either Alchemer or Decipher or Qualtrics. And in this case, the survey has been programmed in Alchemer. So this is what the programmed survey looks like. Here, the user's responsibility will be to go into the survey, test it, make sure that all the skip logics are correct. You're not making any claims that the model will be correct 100% of the time. And that is why we have built a platform where the model and the user are working together to get the project done in the best way possible. So going back to this, so after the survey is programmed, we do data collection. Here you will see the progress of the survey. We fetch the final raw data set from the platform directly into Compeers. This, by the way, this data set has 1,251 rows and 92 columns. Here, we also do, you can assign, here we are connecting the questionnaire with the data set in the next 3 steps, and I'll skip over this. Here we are doing data cleaning, and Compeers does data cleaning by first looking at the columns and suggesting to remove the columns that may not be useful for analysis. So here we have a column with 100% missing value in travel party size, and Compeers made a recommendation this should be removed. However, please know that Compeers will not go and remove any columns or rows. It'll simply flag those and leave it up to the user to delete the rows or keep them as they please, or as they think appropriate. So here we run for, and then after cleaning up the columns, we start find the rows that are not that are not going to be useful in analysis. We also do anomaly detection. So in the background, we run 3 anomaly detection models, compute the anomaly scores for each of the rows, and then the user has the ability to remove the anomalous responses. So think of anomalies as, let's say you are conducting a survey for McDonald's customers, and one of the questions is, how many times did you go to McDonald's last week? Somebody responded 5 times. In a few questions later, the question is, how much money did you spend at McDonald's last week? And somebody says $2. These 2 responses do not match. And that's the reason we have put the anomaly detection step here. Once the anomaly detection is done, it'll tell you how many rows and columns in the original data set and the clean data set. You can download the clean data set from here. And then after that, you can define weights if needed. We prepare the cross tabulations, show the analysis of the cross tabs. You're able to bring, make your own cross tabs or simply download the entire cross tab in one Excel file. We do qualitative labeling or open-ended responses, labeling of open-ended responses. Here, you will see that we prepare we take some rows from the data set and prepare this coding framework. Anytime you see a form like this in Compeers, it's fully editable, and you will see this form all over Compeers. You can simply change any of these things. You can add things, you can remove things, collapse things, or fragment things if there's too much consolidation in the themes. And once you say, I have refined and selected the themes for further analysis, let's proceed. It will code. Here, in this case, it coded 777 responses in about 3 minutes. And this is what it presents to the user. So this is your full tree map. You have the frequency table. And also below that, you will see there is an analysis of this open-ended responses. Here are the sentiments, overall sentiments. So mostly annoyance, admiration, disappointment, disapproval here. And in a narrative form, it is using all the open-ended responses to write this information. The things that you see here in parentheses or brackets are the responses or open-ended responses that you see here. So it basically is taking some responses and building a narrative around it. Finally, we come to the key driver analysis, and the model goes in and identifies variables in your data set on which you can build a key driver model. By the way, model is doing all these things. The purpose here is to reduce the cognitive burden on you so you can focus fully on the objectives of the project, bringing in the relevant context, based on what you know about your end client or end user of the research. And this is true for both the client side and the agency sides of the business. Here, you will select different columns. And again, here, your domain knowledge comes into play. Which variables to select, which not to select, etc. So in this case, there are 27 variables here, and I selected 7 of those. By the way, this is concocted demo data, so there might be some discrepancies in the output. So
Vijay, I hate to cut you off. I'm so sorry, but we're running just a little over time here.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to make sure you had a chance to wrap up and maybe answer 1 or 2 questions. But
Sure.
If you want to take another 10 seconds or so and wrap up, I know you're
Yep.
right in the middle of things and everybody is very engaged.
Sure, sounds good. Yeah, we also, I'll just wrap it up in a few seconds. So here is the results of our clustering analysis. And anything you see in Compeers is editable. Finally, going to our reporting, where we prepare the executive summary, the slides, and these slides are also downloadable as editable PowerPoint slides. And that's our quantitative research Compeer.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I'm sorry to cut you off. I know
Not a problem.
It's a really fascinating platform. And we have a few questions here that we're not going to be able to get to, but I'm going to make sure that you get a chance to look at them afterwards and you can respond to people directly there. But thank you so much for sharing, and we appreciate your time. And thanks everyone for being here. We'll see you in the next session. Bye.
Bye-bye.